Hi, my name is Mercy Mummert. I chose to decorate my bag with 3 daisies because they are very symbolic of the most important women in my life. The 3 most influential women in my life are my grandmothers and my mom. Both my grandmothers were heavily involved in raising me. Interestingly enough, my favorite flower is also their favorite flower, a daisy. They have all done so much for me and have made me into the person I am today. Communication is beneficial to our lives and creates a healthier environment in every aspect of life. It influences our view of ourselves because of the looking glass self-concept. And finally, nonverbal communication is essential to aid our verbal messages and communicate nonverbally when we can't verbally. The first benefit of studying communication is that good communication abilities are associated with physical, mental, and emotional health and well-being. When we are able to clearly communicate and understand each other, we can solve so many problems. One problem I faced that required a lot of communication and I benefited from psychologically, emotionally, and especially physically was when I broke my back. I had to work with several medical professionals to assess, diagnose, and treat it. These screws not only represent the way they fix my back, but also the way communication fixes problems too. Our view of ourselves comes from communication with others. I think, especially at our age, self-esteem and our view of ourselves drives communication. We tend to be more withdrawn and have a harder time connecting with others when we have less self-confidence. The more confident I am, the more talkative and willing I am around others. The concept of the looking glass self has 3 components that explain how we treat others as a mirror that reflects our own image back to us. The first is imagining how we appear to others. The second is imagining how they judge that appearance. And the third is developing a sense of self through the judgment of others. One thing that has always intrigued me is that we will never know how others see us and what side of us they see. I put a mirror in here to represent how we could stare at our reflection all day, seeing and analyzing every part of ourselves, but we still wouldn't know how others see us and what parts they judge. Through this inconsistency of how we view ourselves and how others view us, we grow curious and develop a sense of self through how others view us. Nonverbal communication can help us communicate as well. Our body language talks before we do. When we cross our arms when being addressed, we appear closed-minded and stubborn. When we stand up straight and make eye contact when talking to someone, we are showing them we're attentive and listening. Gestures are a form of nonverbal communication that complement what we're saying and help us to speak without verbal messages. I put my soccer shirt in here to represent gestures. Sports have been a huge part of my life the past 15 years, and we're always coached on our body posture and language when being addressed by a coach or another adult. Nonverbal gestures are also essential for team sports, such as soccer, to communicate with teammates. Without gestures, we would have difficulty connecting in practices and games, as well as reading each other's emotions. So, what do I want the class to remember about me? One thing to remember about me is that I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. It'll be hard to forget considering I have the New Mexico state symbol, the Zia, plastered everywhere in my life. My favorite reminder of my home is this keychain. My mom gave this to me along with a bracelet after my high school graduation. It makes it more of a sentimental connection back to my home. There are a lot of differences between New Mexico and Texas, and the differences in culture also play a role in the differences in communication. What is standard and natural for me from growing up in New Mexico is not the same as what is considered normal here in Texas. It's been really interesting learning about the differences I have with my friends in basic conversation. Tony Robbins says, "To effectively communicate, we must realize that we are all different in the way we perceive the world, and use this understanding as a guide to our communication with others. Thank you.